A very good evening and welcome to another edition of On Point. I'm Patria K. Charles.
And I'm Dennis Chung.
And we've got lots to talk about. Yes. Dennis, how you do?
I'm good.
Good.
No corona here.
Knock on wood. Don't even.
This is glass.
Anything. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wrap my mind around just the HR nightmare.
Oh, it will be huge.
HR nightmare.
Yeah.
Let us think about so many of our industries that have bodies, lots of bodies packed into one building.
We're going to talk a lot more about that later.
We most definitely are going to touch on Corona for the entire show and look at it. But it was an eventful week in Jamaica, certainly in Southeast Clarendon.
Yeah. An election that was supposed to be a non-event turned out to be an event because of the antics of the opposition that never participated in the election. You know?
It's interesting that you use the word antics. Tell me why you phrase it that way.
Well, I think that the whole strategy around what happened was deliberate, so it was antics, you know. And
we're talking about Patricia Duncan and other members of the People's National Party dressed in white shirts with the words observer on the back.
It was definitely meant to be a distraction.
Which is the way that actual official registered obserers would present themselves at an election. The cafes of this world, that's the way that they would do it.
Right. I mean, some people say it was intimidation. I don't believe so. I mean, knowing Patricia, I don't think she would be involved in that. But it was definitely a distraction. And I wondered about the strategy because I don't know that there would be anything coming out of it of value, really. I mean, if you wanted to see what's happening, then the best way to do it is be anonymous. You know, and just be on the ground, you know, not wear shirts that distinguish it. So I don't know what the strategy was, but that is what really created it being an event.
Well,
otherwise it wouldn't have been.
Uncontested, the new member of parliament, well, not uncontested, because there was, let me be fair, there was an independent candidate.
Uncontested.
No, there was an independent candidate in the race who amassed almost 1,000 votes, but walked away. Pernell Charles Jr. is the new member of parliament for Southeast Clarendon. As we make our way towards a general election in perhaps a year or so, or less.
I think it's going to come right after the budget, because as I always say, if it was me, I would read a budget that gives back something and then call an election.
Roddy Spencer, the difference between himself and Pat Duncan when they went to the polls at the general election was about 1,000 and something. So it wasn't a huge gap in between the two candidates. It's going to be interesting to see, with less than 1 year in the seat, how Pernell Charles is going to stand up to
I think he's going to, because of his youth and everything, I think he's going to have a good showing.
I don't know, because the people of Clarendon, it's said that they want to see you active, connected to their spaces, their community. And there's no two ways about it. Pat Duncan has been putting in work in that community,
she has been
certainly
putting in a lot of work
in the last 4 years and more. So it's going to be an interesting run up to the elections for the generals. We're not talking politics in the show today, though. What we are talking about is tourism and commerce, and how are both of those things affected by the coronavirus.
But first, let's take a look back at some of the top business stories of the week.
At number 5, the Grace Kennedy Group reached a major milestone this week by achieving and surpassing its revenue target of 100 billion Jamaican dollars, a goal that was initially aligned with the company's centenary. Grace Kennedy ended its 2019 financial year with over $103 billion in revenue. The revenue growth was attributed to increased earnings in all business segments, which include food trading, banking and investment, insurance and money services. Grace Kennedy's target of $100 billion in revenue was originally expected to be twinned with its 100th year anniversary in 2022. At number 4, up to Thursday afternoon, there was no official declaration of a winner in general elections in Guyana. The Guyanese people went to the polls on Monday to select a new government. This is a crucial election for the Guyanese, as the country is on the verge of an oil boom. At number 3, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, has lowered its global GDP forecast by 0.5 percentage point over coronavirus fears. The OECD lowered its global GDP forecast to 2.4%, saying the coronavirus outbreak will have a major impact on economic growth worldwide this year. This is the lowest rate since the 2008-2009 financial crisis. The OECD says its forecast assumes the virus outbreak fades this year, but it warns that a more severe outbreak would weaken prospects considerably. At number 2, the Federal Reserve in the United States announced an emergency rate cut on Tuesday of 0.5 percentage point in response to the growing economic threat from the novel coronavirus. The move was the first such cut since December 2008, which happened during the financial crisis. In a statement, the Fed suggested it was delivering the rate cuts to protect the country's historic economic expansion as it deals with a potential outbreak of the coronavirus. At number 1, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says industry projections for fiscal year 2020-2021 have been revised in light of the threat posed by the novel coronavirus. Mr. Bartlett says the tourism industry's estimated gross earnings are now projected at $3.69 billion, down from the previous projection of $4.25 billion.
When we come back, we'll look in detail at how the coronavirus just may affect Jamaica's economy.
Outsourced finance and accounting service. Growing companies face a challenge. For you to stay focused on building your business, you need solid financial management with a dependable accounting function, a resource you may not have in-house. That's where we come in. Dodgen Global provides startups and other businesses with outsourced accounting and finance solutions on a fixed fee basis. No matter what your size or fundraising status, we can tailor our services to fit your needs at every stage of your company's life cycle. Whether you want to add expertise to your existing team or completely outsource your accounting and finance functions, we offer reliable and economical options, including accounting system installations and upgrades, from simple to complex, help establishing preferred banking, legal, payroll, benefits, and HR relationships, paperless online bill payment and bookkeeping, financial reporting and advice for management and investors, financial statement audit management, sales tax compliance. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global, website https://dodgen.global.
Welcome back to On Point. The PIOJ, the Planning Institute of Jamaica, has cited tourism as one of those industries that would be hardest hit if Jamaica were to face the coronavirus. Already, we've seen the effects of 2 ships not making land. Take a look.
The Planning Institute of Jamaica, PIOJ, is warning that the impact of the ongoing outbreak of the coronavirus, COVID-19, on Jamaica's economy would primarily be felt through 2 main mechanisms, that is, trade and financial flows. Travel restrictions implemented to stem the spread of the virus, as well as the impact of the slowdown in the Chinese economy on global trade and investment flows, are also expected to have ripple effects on the global and Jamaican economies. Jamaica has banned non-Jamaican travelers from China, Italy, South Korea, Iran, and Singapore from landing on our shores. Meanwhile, tourism is taking a hit. Carnival Cruise has pulled its ships out of Jamaica as a standoff with the Ministry of Health and Wellness over protocols intensify. Reports suggest that Carnival is pressuring the government to soften its stance on safeguards against the deadly novel coronavirus. Carnival's pullout is triggered by the fact that one of its ships was initially denied landing privileges to Ocho Rios on Monday until further information was provided. Passengers from nations on Jamaica's ban list were not allowed to disembark that ship.
Joining us now to talk about the virus and its potential impact on the tourism sector, as well as how they are preparing for it, is senior strategist in the tourism ministry, Mr. Delano Seabright. Welcome to On Point, Delano.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Patrick. The newly married.
Yes, yes. No, just the way you say virus gives me the creeps.
Yes.
Just the way you say the word virus gives me the absolute
It
creeps.
just has that
It's so
pungent kind of,
virusy. But jokes aside, in a real way, there must be plans and strategies, and in some corners, fears around the coronavirus and tourism. Where are you?
Well, yeah, I mean, so what are the facts? I mean, the first 2 months of this year up to the end of February, our stopover arrivals have increased by 5% over already tremendous year last year. That's good news, and I think the reason for that is that people should understand roughly 70% of our stopover visitors come from the United States of America, about 14 to 15% come from Canada, 7% from the UK, and the rest is Brata from Europe and other places. Those markets were not as terribly affected by the coronavirus as, say, China, South Korea, Japan, and those countries. So we have been lucky there, and also we're in a region that up to the end of February didn't have any, serious coronavirus issues. Of course, March, we have to watch it day by day because things are now changing. Florida, Atlanta, New York, up to 80 countries now, as at early March, up to 80 countries affected, 90,000 plus persons confirmed as having the case. And we have some big outbreaks in Italy, which has had an impact on us.
You've been putting some work in Italy, getting some airlift, so where does that leave you with the work that you've done?
2 years ago, we basically have 2 non-stop flights between Montego Bay and Italy, Milan and Verona to be specific. Of course, those flights are now, it's not viable, it's not economically viable to operate them. We had to send off over 200 Italian tourists over the last weekend on Friday and Saturday to get back their scheduled service back to Italy. And of course, those planes had to come empty basically because we aren't able to accommodate any Italians because of the travel restrictions.
Delano,
yeah.
What are your projections going forward? Because the thing is that people plan vacations in advance.
Yes, correct.
So right now, people be saying, boy, let me put this thing on hold right now. So even if the virus subsides now, you're still going to have an impact.
So we're talking to our travel partners, the Expedias of the world, the Delta Vacations, American Airlines, all these major travel operators in the world. March is still looking good, and April is still looking good, but that is as at March 3.
Yes.
Whether on March 5 or March 6 there's a bigger crisis and then more people decide that, I'm going to cancel my vacation and move somewhere else. That can happen. But for now, we're holding steady. However, the expectation is that if the virus continues to spread, and it is very obvious now that it is spreading. It's in Brazil, it's in the US, it's in Canada, you have deaths in the US now. A lot of older people I know are going to be more concerned than, say, younger people because they are more vulnerable, I'm assuming, to the coronavirus. So we just continue to watch that. But the cruise sector, of course, is where we have a major problem. Because you have these floating cities with 6,000 people, 7,000 people all on one ship. In small quarters with people from all over the world. So we had a ship where you had in excess of 400 Italians on the ship.
This is MSC.
It's a very messy situation. And how do you deal with that with the protocols that exist? And I know the Ministry of Health meetings every day, by the way, Port Authority, Ministry of Health, cruise executives, about the protocols that apply.
I see the butt heads that must be happening between tourism and health at this point.
Well, we're not butting heads in all honesty, we're working together as one because we're all in this together. We're on one island, we all have to live here and want to all survive. And the Ministry of Health has been proactive. I mean, honestly, the Ministry of Health has been very cautious.
Yes.
And you know what, I can't wrong them. I mean, obviously I'd want them to be a little more, but we can't allow that because we have to look at the interests of Jamaicans first.
One that come here is going to affect us. So one of the questions I have, Delano, what do you think is going to be the impact of the relationship between the cruise lines and the countries.
So, so we've been talking to the cruise lines, everybody has been. The fact is the cruise lines do good business in specific regions, the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, and of course the Southeast Asia.
Yes.
Southeast Asia is basically dead because it's a huge coronavirus zone. The Caribbean is still relatively safe, and the Mediterranean is now having challenges because Italy is right there and it's now spreading throughout Europe. So the truth is, this is their most profitable region at this point in time, and almost coronavirus free, even though you have cases in St. Martin, St. Barts, and the Dominican Republic. So obviously we have some leverage there, but the fact is, it's a floating city, close quarters. It's a protocol nightmare for health officials, and I understand it. I totally get it.
Do we really have that leverage? Carnival already decided that I'm not even going to take the chance of coming to Jamaica and you either holding up the process or deciding that you're not going to have my ship.
Well, Patricia, that's how people negotiate.
And they've changed ports in some of the vessels.
And they have, but you know what? The fact is, Jamaica is important to them. The Grand Cayman is important to them. And we have meetings scheduled on Friday with Minister Tufton and Minister Bartlett. Will be going to Florida to meet with executives there, because we just have to come together as it relates to a streamlined protocol where there is an overabundance of caution. So we want the temperature logs, we want the medical logs. We need to know anybody cough on the ship, we really need to know. And the ships have mechanisms in place to gather that information.
What's that going to do to the actual cruise experience for a guest? Because we've gotten to a place with cruising where within 1 hour of coming to a port anywhere, the guests are off the vessel, on land, enjoying and spending.
I agree with you.
Now when you say, I want to see the ship logs for 4,000, 6,000, and checking it out, you're gonna put delays now in the process.
In discussing with the cruise lines, we're seeming to streamline that. So of course, the cruise lines have their headquarters. Their headquarters is almost like a battle room. They're all in touch with their respective ships and they can get information fast. How they do it now, essentially, if somebody's on the ship and feeling sick, having the flu or whatever, they report to the medical facility. The medical facility quickly makes a report. That report already goes to Miami. It's there in the system. So they can give you real-time updates as to what is happening on a ship. And then our health experts here now, our health officials on the ground, they have to make judgment calls to say, okay, 14 people on this ship have flu-like symptoms. Should I allow this ship in, or should I ask them to quarantine these people and we'll let the others off? Those are tough decisions that the Ministry of Health have to make.
But here's the other reality though, not everybody with the flu is going to go to the ship's doctor and say, cough, cough, I don't feel well.
Not only that,
is true.
Patricia, but the problem with this thing is that you can be spreading it before you even have the symptoms.
That is the issue. So
therefore, before you answer that, I want you to talk about how do we actually track where someone who will find out was infected has been when they're visiting.
So the first point, there's no 100% perfect way of dealing with this virus, and I think that's why it's spreading around the world, because there are people literally walking around with no symptoms at all, and then 7 days later they begin to have flu-like symptoms. It's a very complex process, and the fact is that we have to now focus on preparedness, I think, while at the same time maintaining a very vigilant approach to our ports, our seaports, and our airports. We all agree with that. In terms of the travel history, of course, we have the passport. Everybody who goes on a cruise ship and a plane has their passport, and a lot of airlines and have their own, have APIS. They're on a system that essentially tracks where you have been traveling over the last couple of days, and all systems here are plugged into that.
I think Dennis is asking about Jamaica. If you go to Dunn's River and if you go eat at Miss T's and you go craft market and then you go on the ship and you had corona because the whole time.
That really is the problem,
And that is a problem. So I think we can all agree that the Ministry of Health's overabundance of caution approach is the right way to go for, because there's no perfect way to resolve this issue. And everybody around the Caribbean is nervous about this thing, because the fact is the cruise industry is important to our economy. It's important to a lot of ground transportation operators, craft vendors, people on the ground who want the business, but at the same time, nobody wants a major outbreak of the coronavirus.
I want to know what this is costing us now. You have 2 ships that had whole itineraries planned with Jamaica included that were denied entry. What does that cost
So we're tabulating the figures, because we know the average ground transportation operator can earn anywhere from $200 US to $500 US on their vehicles, depending on the type of vehicle that they have from cancellations. And we have scores of ground transportation operators who are dislocated. Many shopping options were dislocated. Attractions, lost business, Chococo,
and
all
it
these
continues
places.
because
So there's a chain reaction in the economy.
and the Carnival both are diverting vessels now, so it continues to add up.
Correct, and it does. So clearly there will be a fall off in tourism, and we're expecting that. But we're very happy so far that stopover arrivals, which is most important because that's where we get most of our money from, continues to hold steady.
Any concessions?
5% up to the end of February.
Any concessions for the airlines who have, particularly out of Italy, who've had to send the empty plane to collect who need to go back? Is that costing the Jamaican pocket?
No, it hasn't cost us, but of course we're going to be losing out now on the Italian market. I mean, and we were targeting up to 20,000 Italian visitors up to the end of 2021. They stay long. And they spend the money, and they love boutique hotels, they love smaller hotels, they like to just walk around. These are people who walk around and spend their money. It is tough, but we're holding so far, and we're preparing for any eventuality.
The economy was already going to decline this year.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, man.
Well, you're the expert.
I think it would have declined from where it was.
Okay.
We might have a little bit of growth, but certainly we're not going to have what we were having before.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Not just because of the local situation, but globally.
Yes.
Right?
There's a general sort of slowdown.
Yeah, there's a slowdown.
Yeah.
What's going to happen now if tourism goes down too? Because tourism is...
tourism has experienced many crises before. 9/11, the terrorist attacks. The SARS epidemic did have some issues. Earthquakes, hurricanes, everything. It will recover. And the key is to always prepare for any eventuality. We're very tight with our travel partners. There's also a narrative within the global tourism community that, listen, yes, the coronavirus is a dangerous thing. It is something we should be concerned about. But let's talk about preparedness and preparing ourselves for the coronavirus, because it really is difficult to lock your borders. For example, Jamaica can't shut down flights between Jamaica and the US.
It's not possible.
You can't see it's just going to be chaos.
But Delano, part of that preparedness though is not just from the point of view of the borders and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But small hoteliers in particular have to brace for any economic fallout, because they are the ones who have the problem with the operating costs.
And they are going to be particularly vulnerable to this crisis. And that is why it hurts me so much that there's a problem in Europe, because Europe contributes quite a bit to some of these smaller hotels, because this is what they like, smaller boutique style, rustic, luxury accommodations. So they're going to be impacted. But when you talk to the small hotel operators, a lot of them are used to having some sort of challenge once every 2, once every 3 years, once every 5 years, or a major one once every 10 years. And they battle through it and they survive. And we have loan programs in place that support these small hotels where necessary through Development Bank of Jamaica and other facilities.
We talk about challenges that are going to be faced by airlift. Challenges that are going to be faced with the stopovers, with the cruise ship passengers. We talk about issues that we're going to see with occupancy of the hotels. This is a time to push local tourism.
This is no doubt a time to push local tourism.
Definitely.
We had meetings with Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association. It was put on the table that it would, and one senior member of the JHTA pointed out that it's also an opportunity now to possibly look at extending the local tourism offerings in our hotels, getting more Kingstonians to travel up to the North Coast and spend a weekend. Of course, it's private sector. It comes down to their bottom line. For now, they're doing good business. They're doing good business, but of course, if the rooms start to get empty, they're going to drop rates, which then opens up opportunities for more people locally. But it will not be enough to fill the stock.
Anybody who is smart, right? Would now start forward booking at the lower rates.
Well, why don't you go on a cruise now? I hear they're dropping their rates like crazy. I think you should take it up. Patrick, maybe another honeymoon? I think you're going to do a second honeymoon.
No. Well, I was talking specifically, Delano, about the hotels that if they are smart, they would start forward booking guests now and say, in a month or 2 months, this is what my rate is going to be. And this is what I'm lucky.
And a number of them are moving that direction. They're not doing so readily yet because they're still seeing strong positive numbers out of the US and Canada in particular.
But then they have to
because the American traveler,
I would think future and start making some,
And the American traveler is yet to to pull back on traveling.
Where are you traveling to in the next 2 weeks?
I am trying to stay in Jamaica as much as possible. I know I have to go to New York though, so I'm a little bit, but you know what? I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, man, we have a place for you when you come back for 14 days.
Delano, thanks for talking
Thank
to
you,
us.
Patrick.
Thanks.
And stay safe, and let's not panic. Let's not panic.
I'll shake your hand, but not today.
No, we're doing the elbow like this, or the foot. The foot now, yes.
We'll take a quick break, folks, when we come back more on point.
Dodgen Global offers a CPA scholarship program to team members who join our team. A career in accountancy at Dodgen Global is a great choice and can offer you excellent job prospects. We believe that an accounting education is the greatest gift you can give yourself or anyone else. Few gifts make as significant an impact as the gift of an accountancy education with a job. It's a contribution that lasts a lifetime in the form of learning, opportunity, and success. Join our team and get the opportunity to be part of our CPA scholarship program. This scholarships awards program will be administered by the HR department of Dodgen Global. Requirement: first degree in accounting. Employed at Dodgen Global. Willing to pursue the CPA examination. Here's how to apply. Submit application to Staff Accountant, Dodgen Global. Email sa@dodgen.com.
Welcome back to On Point. We're still looking at the local impact of the COVID-19 or the novel coronavirus on the local economy. A sector that has been directly impacted by this is the freight and shipping. Joining us now is Mitzi Burke-Green, President of the Custom Brokers and Forwarders Association of Jamaica, and a past president of that organization, Mr. Donovan Wignall, and President of the MSME Alliance. Welcome to On Point.
Thank you for having us.
My pleasure.
Mitzi, you see the load coming out of China on a regular basis, you and your members. Are there less containers coming as at now?
As of today, no. And we wouldn't be seeing any changes that would have been affected by the COVID, because what's happening now, the transit from China is 30 to 60 days. And we would have had the shutdown happening just around the time of the Chinese New Year.
All factories closed at that time, no productions happening.
No productions generally.
Manufacturers are expecting that.
The orders coming would have really been before that.
The orders would have been before, and whatever orders that would have gone in at that time would have been processed after they're back from the Chinese New Year's, which is normally about 15 days. So generally there's a backlog just after Chinese New Year. Obviously now that is extended because of the shutdown to do with COVID. But as it relates to the transit, the cargo that would have started manufacturing process at the end of the Chinese New Year would only be ready just about now to be shipped. Mm-hmm. So now that we don't have that cargo, then obviously any effect that we'll see would be maybe another month or two.
The problem though, Donovan, is that one of the problems is when those ships start coming in, we have to be careful about the shipment that's coming off.
Yeah, definitely. I think handling, I know there is a time period within which after the virus exits the human body and goes on to surfaces, there's a time period within which it dies.
They're saying it's 24 hours with a 60-day sailing, a 30-day sailing.
It should be fine, and they did say it should be fine. Well, from where we sit, it is fine based on that 24-hour period that the virus is not able to live outside of the body.
If it's there for 30 or 60 days, that must run through other people there by that time.
Exactly, and we have put additional things in place here in Jamaica at the ports, because at the seaport, Ministry of Health enters these vessels to verify that the crew on board, because while the cargo is fine, then the crew would have be of concern. So the Ministry of Health goes on board, check that the crew is fine, and only after that would the pilots enter. The local pilots to give the vessel permission to dock.
I question the rigor of that, because Ministry of Health official, a nurse going on a vessel and looking at two people and looking at whether or not they're healthy. We need to test. We need to.
Well, I'm not sure what happens in their inspection. Ministry of Health will be better able to tell us what it is that they do during the inspection period or the inspection process.
Yes.
But I would assume and trust that it would be sufficient to make a decision whether or not the pilot would then go on board.
Donovan, as switching from the freight forwarders, the MSME Alliance now, right? What is the impact on small businesses, because a lot of them do order from out of China?
Well, it will have a cascading effect. So if, for example, the suppliers, the traders who buy goods from China, at a certain point in time in the future, when those supplies are now impacted, they will not be able to get the goods from the importers who wholesale the goods to them to sell. So that would be a challenge. The people who are in manufacturing, the same effect. They won't be able to, once they run out of their current stock of raw material, and the raw material that would have been imported, taking care of that 30-day transit between China and Jamaica, then you'd have an impact. It's not immediate, you won't see it right now, but between 30 to 60 days, definitely the supply chain for goods and raw material definitely will be negatively impacted.
Because it's going to be inefficient for a lot of businesses to be carrying 3 months worth of inventory, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them can't afford to do it.
Absolutely
they don't have
not.
the warehousing space to do it. And so they really are doing some just in time. I need this out of China and I need it now. It's already been a stretch. You know you planned for the Chinese New Year. That stock is going to be running out in a couple of weeks. It's going to affect food. What else?
Prices.
Well, I mean, it's demand and supply, Dennis, you'll understand that as far as if you have super demand, then the prices are going to go up to match the demand.
So we can expect some inflation. Well, BOJ, I didn't want an inflation for a little while. So
well, definitely, they'll have it. But another very important thing, Dennis, while, it's an adversity with the advent of the COVID-19, it now presents a very strong case for building local manufacturing.
A supply chain that is locally dependent.
Local dependent, and we have that in the advent of the special economic zones that present space, factory space for anybody who wants to bring their machinery and manufacture in there and sell to the trade, and also export out of there to other countries. So definitely it presents an opportunity, and it probably somebody can make the business case to really get manufacturing into those spaces, into this space, so that we have our supplies closer to market.
So it could be a blessing in disguise then, in that way, in that we can fill the production needs locally. But also, it can also reduce our need for foreign exchange, eh?
Absolutely. So possibly, I mean, that could be the silver lining in the cloud. And I know that this might not be an extended fallout as far as this virus is concerned. I'm sure people are actively working to find a cure, to find an antidote. But definitely, it really now cause one to look at the possibility of bringing manufacturing, bolstering manufacturing in Jamaica to really, really have some positive effect on the economy going forward.
There's a lot of zoning that happens with manufacturing in China. There are some things that come out of certain zones. There are some ports that are close to heavy manufacturing of particular things.
Ningbo being one.
And absolutely.
Yes.
And so you think about the potential of just how much this could cripple Jamaican consumerism just completely across the board if any of those ports were to be affected. You think about the fact that, okay, some manufacturing plants might be opening up now, slowly but surely. If there's another bout of the virus, if there's another kind of virus, we are at the mercy of China.
Absolutely.
We're doing with I suppose there's a lot of speculation on what could happen. The positive is that the factories are opening up. They are taking steps to ensure that the team that is in the factory, they are health certified to be there. And the projection is that the factory should be back up in April. And if that is the case, then the fallout that we will see.
A while though.
It is, but it is better than what was initially projected, and therefore the fallout would not be as significant as we thought it would have been in the first place.
But if they get back up in April, it means we don't get food until August, September.
Eat yam. Plant yam and eat yam.
Build Jamaica.
We eat local.
Yeah.
And August, September is hurricane season, and so there are additional complications that come around that time.
I mean, and that's something that I want to talk to Donovan about. We need to start seeing it as an opportunity. I mean, the Chinese themselves say every problem has an opportunity.
Absolutely.
And for us, I think, you know, this whole thing about going to Jamaican products, eating Jamaican things is really...
Except so many of the machines come out of China anyway, so you're still stuck.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the point, because even the goods that we source from, for example, the United States or anywhere else in the world, those goods would have originally come from China.
In some instances.
Because China is actually the world's factory. No other countries are looking at the vulnerability presented by this particular scenario and are indeed putting measures in place to prevent this from happening again. Because surely, if you have a sole source and that sole source has been disrupted in some way or another, then you will have a big problem because there's nowhere else to get what you need to do what you have to do.
Mitzi, how much will it hurt your members to be 2 months out of containers?
The good thing for members and for customers in some instances, persons are sourcing goods elsewhere, their supplies elsewhere, and we will still have work to do. In some instances it will be less, but because we also import from elsewhere, to include the US, then being our major trading partner, then we will still have work.
But Mitzi, what sort of products are we talking about? Because that's all that's come to my mind.
From China?
Yeah, what sort of things are we talking
about? The list is so long, I'm sure.
It is pretty much almost everything. We have raw material, we have intermediary goods, we have clothing, we have electronics. It's just about everything.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking, you know, is that some of those things, or a lot of the things that we actually import and consume, are not things that we necessarily need immediately. I mean, there are things that if we really wanted to, could do without for like 2 months or so, because most of our food comes from the US.
Consumers may not need it immediately, but certainly the businesses that trade in them to feed
and the problem is going to be that people might get laid off. And so the problem for me is not the lack of goods to consume, because most of the things that come from China, most of our food and things don't come from there. Eh?
It's the continuity of the businesses.
Right, it's the continuity of the business and the effect on the incomes of the person who works there. That is the issue.
I was out Saturday with my cycling group, and somebody mentioned that, hey, I'm going to the supermarket, I'm stocking up because I think we're going to run out of food. And I actually went home and did an inventory of my cupboard. And nothing in there came from China.
No. And that's the point I'm making.
No food stuff that I had.
Toys and clothes and...
Exactly, except for ramen noodles, nothing.
You shouldn't be eating that anyway.
Exactly. Nothing comes from China.
I think there is a conscious effort by a lot of Jamaicans to change that food basket to be a more locally consumed thing. But the plate that you go eat it out, there are other things. There are other things that we consume.
You buy a new plate
every week? No, absolutely not. But there are other things that we consume, that we use every day, that come out of China. I want to find out what the temperature is like on the port, because those gentlemen and ladies,
no pun intended about temperature,
who work on the port are the first line of contact. We talk about the pilots, men who have to load and unload containers. What's the temperature like? The people who actually work on the port?
Well, I haven't actually spoken with the port operators. I know at one point persons were wearing masks because obviously, especially just in January when you still had a lot of persons on the port, because the concern then was the persons coming in through the airport and then coming to the port, and then, you know, that's a mixing pot there, and there are concerns there. But I think based on the things that are put in place by the Ministry of Health and the port operators, then the entry point with the vessels, what happens with the vessels, I think persons are a little bit more comfortable now.
But the concern for me is not really the official ports, it's the unofficial port. So like if this thing really gets to in Haiti, where so much of them coming on our unofficial ports, we're going to have a problem, eh?
I would think that our borders are significantly protected to cover us there.
That's his presidential answer.
Change from yesterday.
This is actually a buying period for some of your members.
Yes.
Those who want to catch the summer sales, the summer selling period, would be boarding flights to go to China now to buy goods.
I think not. No, definitely not. As more information comes out about the virus, how it is spread, and how you know, it's propagated, how it is handled, a lot more people will be more comfortable in traveling, and more comfortable in how they conduct themselves to prevent an infection, and also be more comfortable in the treatment when you have an infection. People travel from places that, like International Airport, MIA International, and New York, JFK, that everybody from everywhere in the world at some point in time pass through those places. So even without knowing it, a lot of people are exposed. But at the end of the day, for this particular contagion, it's a 2% mortality rate. I think the mortality rate for this is less than the flu.
I think we might be underestimating the amount of people actually have it.
Exactly, exactly. Very good point. So at the end of the day, if you look at the virus itself, how people are affected, look at other diseases that we currently have around and spread in a similar manner.
Common flu.
Right. You'll realize that right now, as a matter of hygiene, if we follow the instructions that are given, we significantly lessen our risk of contaminating or contracting this particular infection.
Great advice. Thank you, Donovan. Thank you, Mitzi. We'll take a quick break, folks. When we come back, more on point.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
Welcome back to On Point. The Caribbean has recorded its first case of the coronavirus, and 62 countries and counting also have had cases confirmed. But how many? Here are the numbers.
As of March 4, 2020, there were 93,158 reported cases of the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, globally. Of that number, China has 80,270 cases, South Korea 5,328, and Italy 2,502. The USA has 122, and there are 4 cases in the Caribbean. The virus has killed 3,202 people globally so far. However, 50,957 who caught the virus have recovered, leaving 38,999 currently infected. Of that number, 32,228 are listed as in mild condition, while 6,771 are either serious or critical.
And our On Point team hit the streets and asked, what preparations will you be making for the possible arrival of the coronavirus in Jamaica?
Based on the advice where the Ministry of Health give us, that's the preparation we start trying to stick by.
This is my preparation for coronavirus now. Yeah, when I know some have certain medication in my yard, and when I put on, I know say yo, if it come, me just prepare for it.
No, so I don't make no preparation. I'm not just go and listen and watch what I go on, because I don't know what to do.
Stock of vitamins. The vitamins are good to fight. So, honey, garlic, vitamin C tablets. Rest. Can't afford to get sick. Just try and not get sick. Because if you get sick, your immune system gonna get too weak, and then the same exposure somebody else get who has a high immune system, they'll be fine, and you get it just because your immune system is low. So that's the main thing right now.
I don't really know about the coronavirus that much, so I couldn't give a proper response.
My comment about the coronavirus is about washing every day and use walk with a little hand sanitizer, because you never know why who are touching the hand every day. They are passing letter and things, so hand sanitizer I use as much as I can.
Internal audit. Internal audit service is vital when organizations aim to achieve reliable financial reports and regulatory compliance, navigating risks, streamlining operations, and promoting stakeholder confidence. The benefits of a high-quality internal audit are limitless, especially when you secure yours from a firm with deep industry experience, exposure to hundreds of organizations, dedicated professionals, and proven methodologies. Whether you're looking to establish an internal audit function, attain or maintain compliance with various regulations, mitigate your risk of fraud, or gain an overall assessment of your internal controls, you can count on Dodge & Global for reliable and timely business solutions. We've helped organizations nationwide and across industries to establish internal control structures, create an internal audit function, or improve an existing one, and maintain regulatory compliance. We provide ongoing education as regulations and public perceptions change. We are trusted advisors for management and boards. External auditors can be confident in our work and its results. Let Dodge & Global be a turnkey solution for your organization. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Cameo takes you behind the scenes of Jamaica's exploding creative industries to give you an insider's look at how creatives get the job done.
I'm really picky about how we treat our customers.
As creative people, we went a little bit over the top.
Each week, we interview innovators leading the charge in their industry. The chaos of creativity meets the stricture of structure on Business Access TV's Cameo.
What a discussion, Dennis.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, the time just went.
It flew.
Yeah,
and we're talking about issues that matter.
Yeah.
I think about the nightmare, and I go back to the HR nightmare that this thing could potentially be. I think it's a time where HR professionals, where senior management in companies just have to play the what if game.
Yeah.
Ask the question in a real way.
Yeah.
What if?
You know, I think a lot of the fear that come though is because it's new and unknown. I think as we get to understand it more, because there are many things that when it just come on the scene, right? Because we don't know enough about it, the panic is there. Chick-V, for example.
Yes.
HIV, when HIV came on, you know, and as you get to understand it more, as the medicine gets to develop. So I am not just counting on the virus going away by itself, but as the knowledge and the medicine catches up, you know, the way to treat it catches up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that will you know, make sure that we don't have any prolonged fallout from it.
I still have concerns because I know about our inability to deal with even small medical events.
And our squatter settlements.
Look at Chick-V. Look at what Chick-V did to productivity in Jamaica. look at what Chick-V did to the workforce in Jamaica and how many productive hours were lost.
But you know, one of the problems with
Chick-V,
and even the recent dengue outbreak to a lesser extent, is that I don't know what it is about the health officials, but they seem to always seek to first deny the gravity of the situation until it overtakes them. This time, though, I get the impression that they're taking it a lot more serious and they're doing a lot more planning up front. I mean, and I think we do have the capacity, because we also took the Ebola situation very seriously and we were able to deal with that.
I have to say, I have to give credit to the Ministry of Health. It's costing us in our pockets, but I think what's the price of life, right? What's the price of health? So I think the approach that they're taking right now is actually the right one. There is going to be that tussle between tourism and health, and I think in every instance health ought to win, as is happening right now.
So if you don't have health, you won't have tourism.
What's the point? What's the point? So I also think that there is the opportunity, certainly from the tourism perspective, for us to take a look at Jamaicans, seeing Jamaica and enjoying Jamaica some more. It's gonna create that opportunity where local staycations, people are gonna be afraid to travel, to go outside of Jamaica, but also, since the arrivals are gonna be lower, it creates the perfect formula for that staycation to happen.
The money mingle a little here.
We're not going to be the 5 million tourists that come here, but certainly the 3 million of us that are here can make a dent in what could be a devastating situation. So there is that opportunity for us to help ourselves. And from the shipping perspective, from the goods that are coming out of China.
I think the shipping industry is going to take a blow, and the airline industry to a lesser extent than the shipping, but the shipping definitely, because I ain't going on no ship right now, I can tell you that. You know, we're going to be on it for days with people, with 6,000 people. No, not me.
And then the folks from the MSME Alliance and those who are bringing containers here, this is the time when a lot of people would have boarded a plane, gone to China, done their shopping, loaded their containers to come back. That's not going to happen. Not this week, not next month. And we're going to feel that. On that note, folks, that's where we're going to have to wrap the show. I leave you with saying, one, stay healthy, eat right, take care of yourself, because in many instances it's folks with compromised immune systems
once the immune system is strong,
are affected most.
Shown, so
we have some healthy body cameramen behind there who work very hard, and I thank them for all the work that they do. Thanks to you, the viewers who tune in every week to make sure that we keep you informed. I'm Patricia K. Charles.
And I'm Dennis Chung.
Have a good one.
On Point was brought to you by Dargin Global.
In this 1 degree, you're able to do many things.
I think the field found me.
I'd rather work with the deceased than work with the living.
Let us open your mind to careers you've never considered.
Miniature model maker.
Game technician.
Animator.
Empowerment.
Career moves.
Anywhere money is, that's where I am.
All across Liberty Latin America, we're celebrating International Women's Day, which is being recognized globally under the theme, Each for Equal. Today in Jamaica, we're no different. We're kicking off our celebrations with a summit under the same theme, but focused on a passion for action. We brought together our team members from all across the business, male and female, to talk about being passionate about action. We also brought in a special guest, Audrey Hinchcliffe, who was able to share her journey, pretty much giving tips and insights on what it takes to be a female leader in business. And then we had our panel discussion, focused on what do we need to change the narrative. And we had with us Empress Golding, who is an advocate. We had Dennis Brooks, who is a journalist and educator. And they were joined by our own Susanna O'Sullivan, who is our first female director of technology operations across the CNW group. It was a phenomenal day. Our team members were inspired, they were challenged, and we had really honest conversations, which we feel is a part of changing the narrative and moving the conversation forward. This year, we're all committed to being each for equal. We're all committed to ensuring that even as we look at what we can do individually, we are looking at what we can do and how we can make this bigger and better collectively. Passion for action starts not just with us here in the business, it starts with everyone. Flo would have embarked on a journey at the end of 2018 when our country manager, Stephen Price, signed on to support the Win-Win program under UN Women. And the Win-Win program is really about a commitment to establishing and progressing your organization as a gender-balanced workplace. After making that commitment, we would have looked at different things in the organizations. We would have had feedback over the years from team members. And in March of 2019, we announced that we were looking at rolling out a parental leave policy. By June of that same year, we were able to roll out a parental leave policy for all our team members. And this has really transformed the workplace for us. It has also triggered a national conversation as more and more persons recognize that being a man at home in those early days is not just about taking the time off and, as some men would say, helping out. It's about being an equal partner in that journey. And we're happy that we are one of the pioneers of that discussion. And to be fair and to note, this was not just being done in Flow, Jamaica. This was something that was rolled out in every subsidiary in the Liberty Latin America group. Subsequent to that, we've also spoken about manager hours, and we've rolled that policy out as well, where we allow some flexibility in terms of your work hours, which allows if you have medical appointments, if you need to be at home to take care of a sick child or a loved one, maybe it's your parent. We allow some flexibility in terms of whether you can come in later or you leave earlier, or we look at an arrangement where you can work from home for a period of time. And this is about, again, promoting gender balance in the workplace and allowing that equal opportunity to all employees. We've also moved forward, and as we speak about each for equal, here we've shattered the glass ceiling with the appointment of our first female director of technology operations in Susanna O'Sullivan. We're a company with over 100 years of history, and for the very first time, we have a female heading up what is a core aspect of our business, and this for us is a major indicator of how committed we are to moving this forward, to demonstrating that we're not just about signing on to a principle, signing on to a philosophy, but we are committed to taking concrete steps and definitive action to advancing real change in the workplace as we do each for equal.
You may have to adapt a little bit differently because the stigma does exist.
So I was recently appointed to the Senior Director of Technical Operations role. That role covers Jamaica and Cayman. And what it does, it oversees the teams that are responsible for construction of our infrastructure, network infrastructure, maintenance of our infrastructure, and installation and repairs from a customer standpoint. So being the first female to be appointed to this role in over 100 years is testimony to the changes in the dynamics of our industry and just the country as a whole, right? There's a lot more emphasis on equality. There's a lot more emphasis on ensuring that women have a seat at the table at the senior leadership level. So it's a positive move. What it means for me, it means that there's a lot of pressure. It means that I have broken through the glass ceiling, and it means that there is no room to fail, that I have to ensure that I excel in this role. What it says is that we've been talking a lot about gender equality, but there hasn't been a lot of action behind it. And I often feel that we tend to use it as a reason to define our success. What this says is that we can own our own success as individuals. As women, it means that there are opportunities there that will present themselves, and that is possible. So I do see it as an inspiration. Each for equal for me means that we need to look beyond gender. We need to recognize competence, we need to recognize the person and not the gender of that individual. That is what it means for me.
Each for Equal is about supporting each other. It's about empowering our young women. It's about helping them up. Each for Equal means if I have attained a certain level of success, I need to look at those who are coming behind me, and I need to look at how I too can also help them reach that same level of success. And then it's also about the relationships at home. It's about the dynamics between the male and the female in the relationship. What are the responsibilities? Are they shared? Are they assigned? Each for Equal means standing up for each other, being balanced in the assignment of work. It also means that we're looking at fairness across the organizations across the country.
I would like to wish everyone a happy International Women's Day.
I just want to wish everyone a happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day!
Can't ball in a life, man.
The Good Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
If we all work together to be a peaceful society, Jamaica can and will achieve the 4 goals under Vision 2030, especially number 2, a society that is secure, cohesive, and just. It's National Peace Day, being observed under the theme, Peace is the Way for a Better Day. And I hope you were an active participant today. Hello and welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. On the show, we talk more about Peace Day, break down the figures to be spent by the Ministry of National Security in the next financial year, and keep you up to date on the Houses of Parliament and Government Campus Project. Stay with us.
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, March 5. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is reassuring the public that there are currently no confirmed cases of the new coronavirus, COVID-19, in Jamaica. An assurance was also given that should the virus reach our shores, the public will be immediately notified. Amidst reports that COVID-19 was detected on the island, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton cautioned against the spread of incorrect information about the virus. He instead urged the public to access credible updates and information from the Ministry of Health's website. In the meantime, the Airports Authority of Jamaica, AAJ, has implemented a raft of preventative and proactive measures to protect its stakeholders from COVID-19. In addition to the travel restrictions imposed on some countries, the AAJ has been screening passengers with heat-sensing scanners. Personal sanitation and protective equipment has been purchased, quarantine stations have been created, and the airport's emergency response teams have been bolstered. The AAJ has also ramped up its sensitization campaign. And Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith says government continues to provide support to Jamaican nationals currently in China. Speaking specifically to Jamaican students pursuing studies in the Asian country where the COVID-19 outbreak began, Minister Johnson-Smith says contact has been maintained with the students. Mrs. Johnson-Smith says the needs of the students are being met through communication with the Jamaican Embassy in China, parents of students, as well as chat groups created by the Jamaican Association in China.
It has been it's been a challenging set of circumstances to deal with, logistically challenging. And of course, you understand that there's a level of anxiety that you have to anticipate with persons being so far away from home. So there's even been movement to support persons emotionally as well through those means. So yes, we have students there, students from UA, students who are there privately, and students who are on government scholarships, but they are all being engaged with as best as possible, and their needs met also.
The Foreign Affairs Minister was addressing Tuesday's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee meeting of Parliament. In other news, the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Supplies Requisition System, dubbed iRequest, will be piloted this month. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang made the announcement at a diplomatic corps function on Tuesday. iRequest is an electronic management system aimed at monitoring and maintaining the police force's infrastructure while streamlining the requisition process. Minister Chang says the system's software was completed recently and a corporate area police station will be selected to test the system.
We have established a technology branch within the police force commanded by an Assistant Commissioner of Police to ensure the police not only have the equipment but that they have a team to manage, to maintain and to optimize its use at all times.
A draft of the National Diaspora Policy, NDP, has been approved by Cabinet as a green paper for presentation to Parliament shortly. Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, says the policy provides an institutional framework and a roadmap for cohesive engagement and partnership with the Jamaican diaspora worldwide.
The policy, aligned to Vision 2030, as well as the UN SDGs, envisions that by 2030 there will be transformative empowerment of the Jamaican diaspora to realize their fullest potential in their countries of residence while optimizing their contributions to national development.
Minister Johnson-Smith was addressing members of the Diplomatic Corps on Tuesday as part of activities for Diplomatic Week 2020. The week is being observed under the theme, Delivering a Decade of Resilience for All. And finally, the Electoral Commission of Jamaica has completed its final count of ballots in the recently held by-elections for the Clarendon Southeastern constituency. In a release Thursday, the Electoral Commission says the final count of ballots was concluded on Wednesday. It showed that with voter turnout at 18.6%, candidate Pernell Charles Jr. received 89% of the votes, while his opponent, Derek Lambert, secured 10% of the votes. The Director of Elections will now receive a report into the final count. And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Domestic violence and abuse has always been going on. Say to victims, report the matter, seek help, go to your local police. There are persons who are trained in the various divisions to deal with domestic violence and domestic abuse. We have 2 centers that are currently operational. One is at the Matilda's Corner Police Station. You can call the Matilda's Corner Police Station for that. The other one is at Air 5 Headquarters. That's on the same compound as Constant Spring Police Station. The number is 702-5120 or 702-5121. Co-workers, neighbors, family members, don't sit silently and say, oh, I knew they were having difficulties, but I didn't know the extent. No. Seek help on their behalf and tell your victim or your friend who is the victim, say to them, listen, I want to help you and I'm going to help you, but I have to seek help outside of me.
The Ministry of National Security has a capital budget of $15.9 billion to continue its capacity building projects in the upcoming financial year. We break down the figure and outline the different projects for you.
More vehicles, more technology, more infrastructure and social development. These are key areas of undertakings that will continue into the 2020-2021 fiscal year by the Ministry of National Security. With a budget of $93.9 billion, the ministry will use $78 billion allocated to their current estimates to take care of administrative expenses. The remaining $15.9 billion will be used to carry out major projects. Let's take a closer look at some of the major projects. First is the Security Strengthening Project with a purse of $400 million. Of that amount, $273 will be used to purchase and install equipment. These include management systems for case, jail, and station records. Equipment will also be purchased for the Firearm Licensing Authority, interconnection between agencies, as well as connectivity and surveillance at the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the Department of Correctional Services. The overall objective of the project is to build capacity to increase the conviction rate for murders.
This government is committed to improving not the working conditions of the police force and to providing the police with adequate resources to fight the criminal network.
The project is being funded by the Inter-American Development Bank (IDB) and will end in March 2023. Moving on to the Citizen Security and Justice Program CSJP-3. $235 million has been assigned to develop community asset maps, complete renovation on the Gale Multipurpose Center, and provide remedial education and vocational skills training. It will also evaluate the parenting and skill vocational program and conduct a victimization survey. The program is geared at improving governance and behavioral changes in targeted communities through conflict resolution, social inclusion, and increased employment opportunities for residents. The capacity of the Department of Correctional Services will be bolstered with the acquisition of vehicles and infrastructure development. For the 2020-2021 period, the National Security Ministry will continue delivery of the assorted vehicles. With $393 million, the ministry will also construct and renovate buildings at correctional centers and erect security fencing and cameras. As for the Jamaica Constabulary Force (JCF), the ministry intends to start construction of the Forensic Pathology Suite, complete renovation of 40 police stations, and conclude pre-investment activities for 2 police divisional headquarters and the police headquarters. This will be carried out at a cost of $2.3 billion.
There's value in starting with the police building because we understand that to create public safety is maybe the most important thing in settling a community and reassuring the population that they should live where they are, invest where they are, and in fact help to grow the country.
Still on the JCF, $1.2 billion will go towards the purchase and installation of CCTV cameras and servers, as well as upgrade to the radio communication network and dispatch systems. The cybersecurity capability of the JCF will also be strengthened with new software and training at a cost of $930 million. More vehicles and bikes are being purchased to increase the mobility of the force.
This government took the position to make significant investment in the security services.
The Jamaica Defense Force JDF will receive similar capacity building from a capital A budget of $9 billion. Of that amount, $5.8 billion will be used to complete the procurement of aircrafts and equipment for securing Jamaica's borders. Other purchases include assorted military vehicles, cybersecurity software, and telecommunications equipment. The Ministry of National Security is using the remaining $1.5 billion to complete office space and barracks, as well as to construct simulation and training centers and a military dog facility.
There is significant investment being made in this great institution of the Jamaica Defense Force. We are spending the time, resources, and effort to upgrade your infrastructure, your tools and equipment, your ability to deliver even more.
The Ministry of National Security, building capacity to maintain law and order, rehabilitate offenders, and enable social development while protecting our borders and cyber networks against internal and external threats.
Besides doing all of those social defense issues, we have to ensure we have a police force that is organized and resourced and outfitted to deal with all aspects of criminal activity.
Jamaica Eye is part of an island-wide network of camera surveillance systems designed to increase the safety of you, our citizens. If you have a camera system outside your home or office facing a public space, join us in helping to make Jamaica a safer place for all. Log on to jamaicaeye.gov.jm today. Jamaica Eye, we're all connected. The Ministry of National Security, creating a safer and prosperous Jamaica.
Up next, the Urban Development Corporation gives an update on the Houses of Parliament and Government Campus project.
It started with a vision.
Discussions about a new parliament building have been on the table for over 50 years. But this is the farthest we have pushed the needle in 50 years.
And on May 17, 2018, that vision was transformed into action with the launch of the Houses of Parliament Design Competition. Approximately 24 entries were received from 178 persons.
I'm so impressed by everything that's been done thus far in the competition.
After much deliberation, it was time for the announcement.
At moments like these, we are all out of many one people.
Out of many one people emerged the winning design for the new Parliament building to be built in the National Heroes Park, eventually replacing Gordon House as the country's meeting place for the House of Representatives and the Senate. Since the announcement, the architects have been carrying out several engagements. These include a series of programming workshops with various stakeholders, verification meetings to further confirm the project space requirements, and schematic design presentations, which was used to solicit feedback for the next stage of design development. Following that, another set of workshops were held to share updated details to move the project into the next phase of construction drawings and documentation.
We're far in the detailing of that design, and that has been going on with key stakeholders such as the master planners for the larger area, the feasibility assessment professionals for the larger project, Our municipality, of course, always our partners in development, the security forces, and of course, the users of the House, including the parliamentarians and the parliamentary staff.
Residents and businesses in the nearby communities also participated in the information sharing at the National Heroes Park. Chairman of the Greater Allman Town Community Development Committee was appreciative of the consultative approach by the UDC.
It's a great feeling as a resident and a worker in Allman Town. We look forward to the development. It sounds awesome, and we just look forward to a broader partnership.
To date, the architects are on schedule, within budget, and are scheduled to complete the construction drawings and documentation by June 2020. Christopher Bent shares the work being done by Design Collaborative.
The project has extended into not just HOP building, but also the entire park, 52-acre park. And what we've been doing over the last several months is engaging stakeholders in trying to understand what the requirements are for not just the House of Parliament, but also the park.
Subject to approvals and procurement timelines, construction is scheduled to commence in the first quarter of 2021, with a 24-month timeline ending in the third quarter of 2023.
So we've seen early sketches, especially as they relate to the park and as it relates to the urban context and how that gets stitched into the neighborhood. So we've been, working a lot to help understand how that is achieved, and I think the architects are doing that.
The UDC is leading the planning and construction of the new Parliament building, which is a component of the master plan to redevelop downtown Kingston. It also includes the development of a government campus on the outer bands of the Heroes Park. The corporation, in keeping with its commitment to developing green spaces into urban development, has incorporated the GOJ's 3 Million Tree Initiative as part of the plans for the park. The first 100 trees will be planted throughout 2020.
The National Heroes Park will see the planting of a total of over 1,000 trees, contributing not only to this initiative, but also to the development and creation of more green spaces in Jamaica.
If we do not make these decisions, then Jamaica, as it exists now, the beauty of it, the sustainability of it, will not exist for a future generation. So it's not just an option, it's actually an imperative to protect the environment.
The Urban Development Corporation, making development happen sustainably. To learn more about the work of the Urban Development Corporation, call 656-8031 or visit their website at udcja.com. You may also follow them on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, or visit their information center on the ground floor, Kingston Mall, downtown Kingston.
More life.
More memories.
More moments.
Jamaica Moves is a call to action to prevent non-communicable diseases. Get active, eat healthy. You can protect yourself from high blood pressure, obesity, asthma, certain cancer diseases, and more.
Today, March 5, is National Peace Day, being observed under the theme Peace is the Way for a Better Day. The day was launched in 1996 by Peace and Love in Society pals, with the aim to create awareness among schools and the public of the need for peace. And so each year, students participate in a special assembly through poetry, song, dance, music, and drama. They also carry out exhibitions and street marches to encourage the need for a peaceful society. Street marches are also carried out in several communities in partnership with the Violence Prevention Alliance and the Peace Management Initiative PMI. Persons supporting the initiative are asked to wear blue, while motorists are encouraged to fly a blue ribbon from their vehicles and to keep their headlights on. Let's keep the theme for Peace Day 2020 active throughout the year. Peace is the way for a better day. Let's hear now from the man or woman on the street on how we can contribute to a more peaceful society.
What we need more is love, really. We need more love. And we need to talk up. You see, the community them, where the criminal them, we need to talk up. We need to stop the criminal them. And that will help the system.
We have to try and live more loving with each other. That's all I can say.
Well, we can just create certain avenues where youngsters can vent, because there's a lot of stuff that they keep pent up. So create like more facilities for counselors and all them, so them can vent and start a conversation.
If something happens, just go to the police instead of taking it into your own hands.
I basically think that we should educate the youth them. I mean educate them, not just academic education, but them if you have a knowing of self. Because when you have a knowing of self, then you're going to stop all these other craziness, because you're going to know where you're really worth. And when you know where you're really worth, yeah man, whole heap of idleness are going to stop.
Sensitizing youth is always a good place to start, because if the children are properly educated as to how to resolve conflict and deal with situations that might be difficult or frustrating, then they can truly be better able to handle or resolve an issue without taking violent measures or an unpeaceful approach.
You can speak up. Like if you do the children them anything, them can just speak up and stuff like that. Don't hide stuff, and if you don't know the guy them that kidnap kids are them, the parents them must not hide it, because sometimes the parents them is afraid.
Stop the killing and live good with one another.
Just tell the young youth them let go the gun thing.
You see, if everybody come together, you know, back then them used to say the village grow the children, you know. So I think Jamaica should, you know, use some of those methods that they used back then in the past. You know, and I think if they do that, Jamaica will be a better place.
Almighty God, creator and sustainer of life, we are humbled by your acts of kindness to us over the years. You have journeyed with us through the bitter years of slavery and have brought us the gift of our emancipation.
We thank you for those who, with determination, have led the way to our freedom.
We celebrate another act of your goodness.
We have matured. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We give you jubilant praise and thanks, oh God.
Gracious God, despite our shortcomings, we have much for which to give you thanks. You have been faithful to us in good times and in challenging times. We pause to give you thanks for all your expressions of love, O God. We celebrate and give thanks for the harmony that exists among us.
Truly, we are living witnesses of what it means to be out of many, one people.
We give you thanks for the infrastructural developments that have taken place over the years. We celebrate and give you thanks, O God, for the giftedness of our people, their kindness and creativity, their indomitable spirit that have resulted in excellence in all areas here at home and within the diaspora.
Oh God, we truly love our country, and we thank you for making us a special people admired by the world.
We thank you for all the men and women and young people and children who continue to play their part to make their mark towards our ongoing development. Almighty God, as we move forward, we place Jamaica land we love into your care. Watch over us, enlarge our territory, allow the reign of your peace and justice among us. Establish your kingdom among us and help us to realize our full potential. We ask this in your high and exalted name. Amen.
The ECJ will be renewing all voter ID cards. Visit any EOJ constituency office or voter ID card renewal center if your card has an issue date of 2015 or before. Cards with issue dates 2016 or later will automatically be reprinted. The ECJ will notify cardholders when cards are ready. Current ID cards will be valid until December 2020. For more information, contact the ECJ.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Join us again tomorrow when we bring you another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
I'm Chris Williams, CEO for Proven. When I think of Business Access TV, two words come to mind: passion and performance. In the short space of time that they've been on air, has demonstrated clearly the Jamaican passion for anything that we set our minds to. They have approached television in the most creative and dynamic way, and I'm proud to see how this young station has evolved. In terms of performance, they back up what they say they're going to do. All their programs, all their packages, all their promotions are efficiently and effectively executed.
Your business matters. Promote it on Business Access TV.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com. CARICOM News Time is brought to you by Dajin Global.
CARICOM Election Observation Mission monitors general and regional elections in Guyana. The community is sparing no effort to enhance preparedness for the COVID-19. And the CARICOM Secretary General wants an all-of-society approach in building CARICOM. Welcome to the CARICOM News Time for the week ending Friday, the 28th of February. I'm Tusanki in English Francis. Thank you for joining us. CARICOM Ministers of Health are advancing efforts for a harmonized regional response to the novel coronavirus. About the protocol to guide the region's response, Justine Dunkley-Malcolm followed this discussion and found this story.
A regional protocol establishing minimum standards for dealing with COVID-19 was agreed to by CARICOM heads of government and health ministers at the 8th Special Emergency Meeting in Barbados on Sunday. The protocol is critical to avoid an outbreak of panic and fear in the region. The protocol, drafted by CARFA following 2 emergency meetings of the CARICOM Ministers of Health last week, allows for individual states to place additional measures if they so require. It defines roles and responsibilities of all parties and seeks to ensure that there is effective communications between CARICOM governments and the cruise line industry with respect to decisions so that there would be a common understanding. The meeting was attended by the Pan-American Health Organization, PAHO, Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARFA, Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, SEDIMA, the CARICOM Implementation Agency for Crime and Security Impacts, and representatives of the leadership of the cruise ship industry. The capacity to manage an outbreak was identified as an area of concern. Accordingly, the meeting agreed to establish an expanded Bureau of Heads of Government to continue discussions with the travel and tourism industry, regional financial institutions, international financial institutions, and the private sector. The meeting also recognized that the existing regional response mechanism coordinated by SEDIMA was already on alert and was actively undertaking scenario planning in partnership with CARFA, PAHO, IMPACTS, and member states' emergency management agencies and chief medical officers. SEDIMA would also provide guidance and share best practices to member states in their approach to managing an outbreak. A draft framework document has already been shared with regional partners and all SEDIMA participating states, and this will be built upon. The cruise industry officials confirmed that they have been doing their part in screening passengers and stated that they will be willing to work with the established protocol. The officials said screening procedures and protocols for prevention, surveillance, and response were integral to industry operations. The cruise officials added that clear and practical protocols throughout the region are essential and look forward to continued cooperation with all stakeholders. During a press conference after the meeting on Sunday, PAHO reported that there were 3 confirmed cases so far in the Caribbean.
The CARICOM Election Observation Mission joined other regional and international missions in monitoring Guyana's regional and general elections held on Monday, the 2nd of March. The mission was led by Ms. Cynthia Combe Marta, a national of St. Lucia. The mission included electoral management experts from Antigua and Barbuda, the Bahamas, Barbados, Haiti, Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. There is a new man in charge of the Pan-Caribbean Partnership Against HIV and AIDS, PANCAP. Vincentian-born Dr. Roseman Adams has taken the reins of the agency responsible for coordinating the regional response on HIV and AIDS. He assumed the position after former director, Mr. Derek Springer, demitted office on February 28th. Adams, a medical doctor, has been involved in regional public health coordination in areas including surveillance, NCD control, and health security. Dr. Adams is optimistic that the region can end AIDS, but he said a lot of work must be done. He said that gains made so far must be sustained and efforts must be made to scale up the region's response. The CARICOM Secretariat has begun multi-stakeholder consultations for the development of a new results-focused community strategic plan. The Secretariat anticipates that the 2020-2025 CARICOM strategic plan would be submitted to heads of government for their approval in July. The first leg of the consultation was held recently in St. Lucia. It saw robust discussions among representatives from the youth, media, labor, non-governmental organizations, civil society, as well as the private and public sectors. The national consultations are also being leveraged to build awareness and sensitize community stakeholders about the I Am CARICOM campaign. The campaign is designed to expand understanding of CARICOM and the benefits of the regional integration movement. The European Union and the Caribbean Development Bank have launched a multi-million-dollar program to enhance businesses' capacity to access new trading opportunities. The program involving CARIFORUM EPA and the CARICOM Single Market and Economy is being supported by the 11th EDF Development Fund. The CDB will select and fund projects in the public and private sectors for businesses to maximize opportunities in the EU and throughout the CARIFORUM region as well as within the CSME. Building a Caribbean community that is hardened to shocks requires an approach that embraces the talents, skills, and resources of all actors of society, CARICOM Secretary General Ambassador Erwin LaRocque said recently. Speaking at the just concluded 31st intersessional meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM in Barbados, the Secretary General said, "The confluence of actions to make significant progress on the CARICOM single market and economy, to secure the region's financial services, and to safeguard its fiscal sovereignty are being done to build a strong community." He said that goal also propelled efforts to enhance the community's technological capability and capacity to protect the health and security of CARICOM people and to expand foreign outreach. Don't forget that these and other stories are available on the CARICOM news site at today.caricom.org or the CARICOM website at caricom.org. Like our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
CARICOM News Time was brought to you by Dajin Global.
Outsourced finance and accounting service. Growing companies face a challenge. For you to stay focused on building your business, you need solid financial management with a dependable accounting function, a resource you may not have in-house. That's where we come in. Dajin Global provides startups and other businesses with outsourced accounting and finance solutions on a fixed fee basis. No matter what your size or fundraising status, we can tailor our services to fit your needs at every stage of your company's life cycle. Whether you want to add expertise to your existing team or completely outsource your accounting and finance functions, we offer reliable and economical options, including accounting system installations and upgrades, from simple to complex, help establishing preferred banking, legal, payroll, benefits, and HR relationships, paperless online bill payment and bookkeeping, financial reporting and advice for management and investors, financial statement audit management, sales tax compliance. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dajin.global, website https://dajin.global.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Cameo takes you behind the scenes of Jamaica's exploding creative industries to give you an insider's look at how creatives get the job done.
I'm really picky about how we treat our customers.
As creative people, we went a little bit over the top.
Each week, we interview innovators leading the charge in their industry. The chaos of creativity meets the stricture of structure on Business Access TV's Cameo.
I'm Jean Laurie Chin, and I'm the Executive Director of ProCom, ProDev, and CCRP. BATV had heard about our outreach arm, which is a Caribbean community of retired persons. I think BATV is having a very positive impact. And as a result of that excellent feature, we got more members. So clearly people are watching BATV. I always say to my clients, you should have a 360-degree campaign. Do not limit yourself to one media house. And especially those who are in business, I think it's very important to include BATV in their portfolio.
Your business matters. Promote it on Business Access TV.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market. And that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase 1, where we look at social investment, and phase 2, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase 1, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now in phase 2, you're going to get a return on investment which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. When we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
In this 1 degree, you're able to do many things.
I think the feel found me.
I'd rather work with the deceased than work with the living.
Let us open your mind to careers you've never considered.
Miniature model maker.
Game technician.
Animator.
Empowerment.
Career moves.
Anywhere money is, that's where I am.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Hi, my name is Diane Plummer and I'm the Managing Director for Your True Shade. So the program that I participated in was Creating Wealth, and it would give viewers an idea of the different processes in Your True Shade, taking the products from the raw materials to the production and then finally to the consumer. Being on Business Access TV has definitely impacted my business because since the feature was aired, I got a lot of calls asking about the products, where they can get products, and asking additional information as well. Another thing that I did was to actually link the video to my social media posts so that persons can actually learn more about the brand. So for persons considering BATV, I would definitely recommend it because you will definitely see the payoff for it. Persons will definitely be interested in finding out more about you as well as your brand.
The Good Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream, that we can make Jamaica the place of choice for you to choose to live, to work, to do business.
We are going for the Jamaica we want. Making steady progress to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals in our National Development Plan, Vision 2030 Jamaica. We have teamed up with valued partners, working through strong institutions to reduce inequalities in our society. We commit to being responsible in our production and consumption, ensuring we build sustainable communities in harmony with nature. Jamaica is making significant strides in providing quality, lifelong education for all, enabling our people to be engaged in decent work to drive economic growth, equipping men and women with the skills to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industry, foster innovation, and utilize new technologies. Urgent action is being taken to manage natural resources responsibly, protecting clean water sources, ensuring access to water and sanitation for all, diversifying to alternative energy sources, conserving our environment and sustaining life below water and on land. Jamaica is making moves to ensure healthy lifestyles for the well-being of our people. We're promoting sustainable agriculture to achieve food security, improve nutrition, and end extreme hunger, putting in the work to end poverty in all its forms. We're on track in achieving our Sustainable Development Goals through realizing our Vision 2030 Jamaica. We will leave no one behind.
And I'm chilling right now, cause we're winning right now.
I started out selling out of the trunk of my car.
If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got. Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look.
But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now.
Hi, Mas Errol. How you do?
Not too bad.
This was so interesting in the paper today, Mas Errol.
Enough things. Did you know?
that the EU has been doing a lot of work in Jamaica?
Who is the EU again, Mas Errol?
The European Union. A group of European nations that come together to promote social and economic progress and peace across the world.
Hey, true? Newspaper is all well and good, but I bet I can find more information from the internet. I know just the person to call. Hi, Minister.
Minister.
Hi, Jody. Hi, Errol. What can you tell us about how the European Union has been helping Jamaica?
Over the past 43 years, we have received approximately 1.2 billion euros, and this has run the gamut of a number of developmental programs. A particular area of support has been in the area of agriculture. The EU has provided grant funding and support funding for sugar-dependent areas.
Between 2006 and 2017, the EU provided some 23 billion Jamaican dollars to help people living in areas that are dependent on sugar. Under the AMS, 397 houses have been built for residents. This replaces the old barracks-type housing in which they used to live.
The condition of the barracks were completely rough.
No light, no water.
We never have any transport. The bathroom is outside and the toilet was a pit toilet.
We never have no tank, we have a tank. The lights are here, the bathroom inside, the kitchen inside.
Thank God for the benefit we have right now.
Nearly 200 miles of roads have been built or reconstructed in the parishes of St. Catherine, St. Thomas, Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland and Clarendon.
Based on the roads that we did, it has created some form of ease for the truckers. Citizens of the area, they also benefit from the road.
More than 2,000 SDA residents have received vocational training.
The center would have been equipped to the tune of over 7 million Jamaican dollars to purchase various forms of training supplies and equipment across 3 skill areas: apiculture, bartending, and cosmetology.
I have been receiving training in various areas such as facial, massage, nail.
They have helped me to be certified and I can now earn an honest living from this.
The EU provided over 100 million Jamaican dollars in new business grants to residents in sugar-dependent areas.
Thanks to the EU for giving me this injection of 1,000 chickens, the feed and medication.
I received $1 million and it makes me into a woman that I am today.
The EU's AMS program has also funded extensive improvement to health facilities.
We expand the waiting area, operational space for our doctors and nurses.
The staff morale, it has improved because you're better able to work with more privacy.
With the funding, we're able to open this section we call the male ward. It is marked improvement over what it was.
I feel comfortable, feel like at home.
Enhancement of educational facilities.
I have assisted us in erecting an auditorium. We have a fully refurbished computer lab, and we have a library with over 300 books.
We got $11 million to build the facility, and it was a wonderful restroom for the school, and we appreciate it.
Upgrade of childcare facilities.
The funds were used to retile the bathrooms. We improved the plumbing area on the dorms, extended the kitchen and the dining room.
Conservation of the environment.
We embarked on a project here in Salt River, the Portland Biodiscovery Center. Funding has gone towards the erection of the building as well as the construction of the boardwalk.
Increased access to sporting facilities and the preservation of Jamaica's historical architecture.
We were fortunate to get funding for the rehabilitation of the building with computers and computer workstations.
The EU-Jamaica relationship has strengthened considerably in recent years.
Our contribution focused on building resilience, improving quality of life of people in the communities, and providing alternatives. I am absolutely confident that the strong and very constructive relationship that we have today, based on trust, based on partnership, will continue.
You see how the European Union partner with us?
You're right, Mas Errol. Life's sweeter for true with the EU.
So Business Access TV has impacted my business pretty much, you know, in the obvious ways. Everywhere I go, people would stop me. Are you the girl that was on Business Access TV? I love your work is amazing. Of course, business-wise, orders came in through the interview. It's an ancient Japanese technique. The interview was great because I was able to explain my process and people really understood it. The impact of you doing an interview and showcasing it on Business Access TV is priceless. There's no dollar value for that. What is there to lose? You have everything to gain. It's been an amazing experience for me, and it will be for you.
Your business matters. Promote it on Business Access TV.
I am Jackie Tyson, and you're watching Business Access TV. Serious about business.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access. Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Hello and welcome to Business Access Television's coverage of the Golden Day Tourism Awards. We're coming to you from Montego Bay, St. James, where it's a very special day. The Ministry of Tourism and the Jamaica Tourist Board are honoring individuals who have dedicated over 50 years of service to building the local tourism industry. I'm Keneal Gale and I'll be your host, so stay tuned for the highlights. Okay, so we told you that the Ministry of Tourism and the Jamaica Tourist Board, they are honoring individuals who have dedicated over 50 years of service to the tourism industry. And speaking with me now is Melvin
Williams.
Melvin Williams, and he's been in the industry for how long?
58 years.
58 years. What's the major change you would say from when you started until now?
We have quite a bit of changes. I've seen a vast more tourists coming into the country than ever before. We have a lot more people get involved in the industry than ever before. I find that people are more better off in a living condition than before since the industry has been grown to this dimension.
What are some of the milestones you've seen? Because you've been in it for decades. So what are some of the milestones that you've seen over the years?
In the last 15 years, it has developed very fast, rapidly. I have seen tremendous amount of hotels that has been built. The Spanish hotels, so many Spanish hotels with so many bedrooms. I've seen so many hotels built right across the country, especially in the North Coast. Our beaches have been developed, and cruise ships has been more than ever before in the past. And we have a lot more people, operators, tourist operators, drivers, who involved in this industry that been able to make a better living for their family than in the past. So most of them I discovered that they can have a better home, better school for their kids, able to send their kids to school. And even though it has been hard sometimes, but yes, they're able to do it because of the industry.
Let's talk a little bit about your journey. Tell us a little bit about where you started and what are some of the jobs that you've done within the industry.
Okay, I started at the Roundel Hotel in 1959, and I worked there until 1963. I was sent to London by Mr. John Pringle, who was the owner and director of the Roundel Hotel, to our Park Lane Hotel in Dorchester, London. And I worked there for 18 months. Then I came back to Roundel in 1964 and picked up my position there, and I worked there until 1970, where I started a transportation business of my own, tourists, carrying the tourists in my own taxi service. Then I leave there in 1970 to our Martin Tours, which was the only tour company then in Montego Bay and Jamaica. I worked with Martin Tours until 1976, when they moved out of the country. And then I was a member of JUTA from 1974, and since then, 1976, I went to the Sanders, where it was Royal Caribbean. I went to Royal Caribbean Hotel, which is now Sanders Royal, and I'm there until this very day from 1976.
Wow, Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, and congratulations again. And on behalf of Jamaica, we thank you for your service.
And I've been able to school all my 6 kids, give them university training, and I think I am privileged to be here this evening to share with you the importance of the industry, and I'm grateful.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Another awardee has stopped by to talk with us. He's Michael Young, and he's been in the industry for 51 years.
51 years.
Talk to us about what you're feeling tonight. What does this function mean to you?
Well, I'm feeling proud because tourism is our #1 industry. And where I work at the airport, I welcome the tourists in when they came in with their luggage, and when they're going out, I'm the last person to say bye-bye to them.
So you have a very critical role in terms of ensuring that people feel at home when they come and want to come back.
Right, and I operate on a tip basis. And whether I get money or not, I still give a smile and say, come back to Jamaica, man.
All right, talk to us about your journey in the industry. You say you work at the airport now, but that's where you've always been, or you've had different jobs?
Well, I do a little truth and tourism too, from the shipport now, because I'm not living back anymore now. I'm getting older. But I've been at the airport from there was 4 aircraft. 4 aircraft.
4 aircraft?
Right. And now you have over 35, 40 coming in per day.
Nice. How has the tourism evolved in your eyes in terms of the product that we are offering here in Jamaica?
It's growing rapid. To what it started from, it's growing rapid. I am pleased. I passed the airport a while ago, and I was happy to see the amount of planes on the ground and the amount of buses. And tourism is quick money. It's foreign exchange. It's the biggest industry in Jamaica. Quick cash.
You talk to a lot of tourists. So what do you think are some of the things that we can do better? As in some of the things that we can do to make tourists more comfortable, let them feel more safe, make them feel more welcome.
Tourists like a smile, and they like to be comfortable. They like to congratulate and ask them to come back to Jamaica and go the extra mile to do something. And everything is not money. Sometimes some tourists are poorer than I and you, but they come to Jamaica. And if you treat them nice, they'll tell somebody, they maybe tell the rich guy, come to Jamaica.
All right, congratulations again. And the word you're leaving with us is treat the tourists nice.
Yeah?
And keep smiling.
Smile, keep smiling. Welcome the tourists, treat them right, keep them safe, and they will come.
All right, wise words there from Michael, who's been in the industry for over 50 years. We're now speaking with Wordsworth Watson, and he's been in the industry for 65 years, all of 65 years.
Yes, sir, unbroken.
65 unbroken years. It just boggles my mind, and it's a wow for me to. So first of all, thank you for your contribution to the industry. And how are you feeling to be here tonight?
Extremely good, because in 1960 I went to a seminar down Casa Montego, and the lecturer was from UWI, and his remarks was that he was the brightest one in there, and anybody in the tourism sector are from the lowest category of the workers. And after that, U-Sharer realized that we were not being cared for, and he decided to start a program, but unfortunately he died before the program could get off the ground.
Talk to us a little bit about what does the tourism industry mean to you as an individual, and also as an individual being able to contribute to the growth of this wonderful industry from its infancy up until now.
Very good. It means so much to me. first thing, that's what made me to be what I am today. And secondly, it helped me to school my daughter overseas, give her one of the first-class education in Canada at York University. And now she's doing a very good business in Canada. I'm feeling very proud, and again, to know that at my age, they still want me to be in the system.
All right, Mr. Watson, thank you so much. Thank you for your contribution to the industry, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We're now speaking with Myrtle Dwyer, and she's another one of our awardees this evening. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's been such a special evening for you and your fellow awardees.
Awesome. For one, I never thought for a moment. I never expect awards. I do, and I am, and whatever comes with it. So when I heard that I personally was being awarded this evening, I was like, that's impossible. I just happened to have been in tourism, did what I was supposed to do, and I'm enjoying it.
You've been in it for 50 years, so it must be something that you love.
Absolutely. It actually grew on me because came from the hills of Westmoreland to high school in Montego Bay High School to be exact. And Montego Bay was tourism, so we saw tourists walking up and down on the road. We were gracious and kind to them, and it became a part of me, and my curiosity led me into tourism, and it grew on me even further, and I studied the subject heading off to Germany in 1972 to study hospitality and tourism.
Jamaica has, sun, sea, sand, but a lot of other places have that. What do you think gives us the edge in the tourism industry?
Awesome. We're a nation of contrast. We're an island of diversity, and we're just a land of beauty with experiences to match every desire, every discerning client, every aspirational client, and every client who wants to come to Jamaica or thinks they need to get to Jamaica.
Now we know why you're one of the foundation members in the industry. Finally, just tell me, what does that mean to you to be one of the foundation members, one of the persons who helped to build the industry from where it was to where it's at now?
Actually, it's good because the times were tough. It was tough, one, being in the industry, working long hours, and two, being a woman. It was a man's industry. And so you had to contend with the men, and you had to contend with foreigners. And but you know what? It made me to be built of sterner stuff. And today my shoulders are broad, and I'm standing on the backs of a few others who came before me. But I'd love to have taught many who have gone on to be excellent women of industry.
And 50 years later, you have a real good legacy to look back on.
Absolutely, and I'm still going. Reinventing myself.
Still reinventing yourself. Thank you so much for talking with us. We take a quick break here from the Golden Tourism Day Awards here in Montego Bay. More after this break.
M&A Strategy and Advisory. Are you planning for a merger or acquisition? M&A transaction. The decision to embark upon an M&A transaction is not one to be taken lightly. Whether pursuing a merger or acquisition or considering a disposal or divestiture, the complexities of an M&A transaction require careful planning and execution. Clients can depend on our specialist teams to lead or support transactions requiring specific expertise on issues including business modeling, fast-track M&A, economic consulting, and government public sector advice. With deep experience, knowledge, and tools, Dodge & Global can meet stakeholder targets and expectations. Dodge & Global consulting teams can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Hi, I'm Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, and you are watching Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Welcome back to Business Access Television's coverage of the Ministry of Tourism and the Jamaica Tourist Board's Golden Day Tourism Awards.
The idea, of course, of having an event like this was born out of a realization that tourism has, over the last 50 years, evolved into the most important industry in the world today. And many of you would not have known or even realized what you had been putting yourself to and the tasks that you were assigned and the outcomes that in time would ensue. When you started out in your various areas, some of you have transformed into many, many other things. Others of you have painstakingly stood your path and have served well with distinction in your preferred area. And as Martin Luther King said, you became the best of whatever you wanted to be. If you were a busboy, you became the best busboy that there ever was. And if you were a gardener, you became the best gardener that there ever was. And if you were a driver, you became the best driver that there ever was. And whatever it is that you were, you did it like Michelangelo did painting. And we're proud, very proud to have you. But I wanted to just reflect a little bit on the fact that 50 years ago, when some of you started, and there are many who have done more than 50 years. As a matter of fact, when I went through the schedule, I saw that there were very few 50 years. There were more 51, 52, 53, as far down as 67 years. Hello, 67 years. And I reflected a little bit on what happened when 50 years ago some of you started. And 50 years ago, 400,000 people came to Jamaica for tourism purposes. And they spent $87 million US. Last year, because of you and your 50 years and more, 4.3 million visitors came to Jamaica and spent $3 billion US. And this year, we are going to see pretty close to 4.4 million people coming, and they are spending $3.3 billion US. In that same period, there were only 10,000 employees direct in tourism. Today, 120,000 people are employed in tourism because of you and your efforts. 50 years ago, we were not a factor in the GDP calculations. Today, last year, tourism contributed 8.4% of GDP because of your efforts. And I want you to recognize that we believe that the time is now right for us to look at this great industry that you've created and to build and create a new architecture that is going to ensure that the efforts and legacy of all of you is sustained in the constant development and the expansion and transformation of this country and the people of our country from poverty to prosperity. And we're excited about that prospect. As a result of which, we have been putting together a number of new initiatives towards that effect. In the introduction to me, mention was made of the efforts that we initiated in my first iteration as minister with regards to the pension program for workers of the industry. And to the benefit of those who would not give a lot of thought to it, that process continued while I was in sabbatical with the new minister, and it was taken to a certain point. But that point which it was taken to was not sufficient for us to implement, because there were a whole range of difficulties that emerged as a result of the type of policy that we have sought to implement. One which had no precedent in either Jamaica or the world. Nobody else in the world has a tourism policy for pension like we are trying to introduce. Nobody. And consequently, we had concerns by the legal entities as to exactly what it was. The second concern was that we had to legislate. And it would have been the first policy to be legislated in terms of contribution, because all policies otherwise are voluntary, and so the contributions are made voluntarily. We are introducing legislation to make it compulsory for everybody who is working or employs people in tourism to contribute to this pension plan, to make sure that we can secure the future of the workers of this industry. And so we are not going to be driven by any feelings about how quickly it should happen. Yes, we want it to happen quickly, but we want to have it right. We want to get it right. And we want to make sure that at the end of the day, the workers, you who have worked for 50 years and over, and who have retired, can retire in the certain knowledge that there will be pecuniary rewards for you after you have left the companies that you work with. But one of the reasons that this particular pension plan is so unique and is different from all the others and cause a little bit of harder work and more detailed legal applications is that it's not confined to a single sector. And all the other pension plans relate to a particular sector or a company. This one, we are trying to embrace all the areas that connect with tourism so that the little man, the red cap at the airport will have a place in this pension plan. So that the craft vendor has a place in this pension plan. So the transportation sector, the Juta man and the Jekyll man, yes? And all the other transportation providers in Jamaica have a place in this plan. And also the attraction workers, the rafters. Yes, the rafters on the Rio Grande, and the rafters on Great River, and the rafters on Martha Brae, all will have a place in this plan. So this is an omnibus plan which will take into account all the connecting parts for tourism that has never happened before. And we have to get it right. And thank goodness we have a good team headed by Daisy Coke, who is doing a magnificent job, perhaps the best actuary in the entire Caribbean. We have the benefit of her services, and we are doing it right. And don't rush us too much. Let us get it right, and we'll have it for you before it's long.
Your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
Dodgen Global offers a CPA scholarship program to team members who join our team. A career in accountancy at Dodgen Global is a great choice and can offer you excellent job prospects. We believe that an accounting education is the greatest gift you can give yourself or anyone else. Few gifts make as significant an impact as the gift of an accountancy education with a job. It's a contribution that lasts a lifetime in the form of learning, opportunity, and success. Join our team and get the opportunity to be part of our CPA scholarship program. This scholarships awards program will be administered by the HR department of Dodgen Global. Requirement: first degree in accounting. Employed at Dodgen Global. Willing to pursue the CPA examination. Here's how to apply. Submit application to Staff Accountant, Dodgen Global. Email sa@dodgen.com.
This is Caroline Smith, Marketing Implementer for Sol Western Caribbean for Shell Lubricants, and you're watching Business Access TV, and they are serious about business.
But we need to do something else, as you see we are doing. We're building out the capacity of our human capital to generate quality services that you have started during your 50 years. And you have had over the period not the opportunity to get formal training, some of you. And others of you have slaved and worked hard in the various fields without certification. And you have suffered the consequences thereof because you get passed over every time and new people come in from overseas to take your place. Well, in this new arrangement and the new architecture for tourism, we are training our people, we are certifying them. We have established the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation, which is a pathway institution to professionalize the workers of the industry. And already we have provided 450 workers with qualifications from the American Hotel and Lodging Institute and the American Culinary Federation. And what that does is to say that the efforts that you have made over the years to build a workforce in the industry must never be taken for granted, and that the Jamaican worker henceforth must have his rightful place in a professional arrangement and get the recognition and the remuneration that fits his qualification and his abilities. Within that frame, earlier this year, in September, we started the first ever program for high school students in hotel management. And so the fifth formers, as we know them, who now would go to sixth form, those 2 years between fifth form and when you graduate, an option is provided for you to get an associate degree in hotel management so that when you leave high school, you can go straight into the hotel and take a strong position as a worker. Not as a contract 3-month worker, but as a full-fledged worker within the industry. And so we are going to look at also the other levels of training that are taking place so that we put ourselves in a position where the workers of our industry can command respect not only at home, but anywhere in the world that they go because they would be certified. And the final area of that is that we are going to ensure that there is a labor market reformation, because the industry is no longer a seasonal industry where we work for 3 months or 2 months or 6 weeks and then you're gone and we close down. We are now an all year round industry where we are bringing up to 4 and more million people every year, and they are there every day. And so we have to look at those labor reform areas. So the next element of the development is how do we include the small and medium enterprises within the tourism industry to become a critical part of the value chain and also to be greater beneficiaries of the resources of tourism. And so we, Jamaica, little Jamaica, led the world in changing the way we look at small and medium enterprises. And we said to them, there is something called a small and medium tourism enterprise. Because these are the 80% of who constitute tourism in the world. But who only get 20% of the resources of tourism? Something is wrong with that, little Jamaica said to the UNWTO. And they have listened and agreed. And so we now have a situation where we are transforming that whole arrangement, where the liquor man, who has been the hero of wood and drawers of water in tourism, will now have a place, and a place that can supply for him a future for his children and himself. And that's very important. And what did we do in that regard? We established a training program for you, but then we went to provide financing. And we put $1 billion in Exim Bank to be lent to you, the liquor man, at 4.5% per annum for 5 years. And you can borrow $5 million to $25 million to expand your liquor business, to grow your little business and to convert your idea in something of material value that can give you economic returns. And that's another part of that strategy, to create economic empowerment for the small people who are involved in the tourism industry. And finally, I want to say to you that we look at how do we then change the way in which we have been doing tourism. And we have established a task force under Mr. Wilfred Bagaloo, who is a partner of Price Waterhouse and a very reputed and knowledgeable person in that field. And he has been working over the last few months, and I've been interviewing people from all over. And the purpose of which is for us to look at what is happening through the various mechanisms and protocols in the international trade. Things like the EPA and other such constructs. And to see how those are impacting and affecting our traditional and local entrepreneurs in the tourism sector. And the purpose of which is to redefine that process and indeed to establish a new architecture to enable our Jamaican workers and our Jamaican entrepreneurs to continue to become a vibrant and valued part of the tourism value chain. This is very important to us. Then we have to look at how we interact with the visitors. 50 years ago, we built a tradition in Jamaica of us being a nice, sweet, loving, huggy, kissy, friendly destination. Not true? And that has worked well for us. And it has given us 42% repeat business. But the world has changed in terms of how people think about those type of relationships. We have to learn that no is no. And understand that everybody who comes to our destination doesn't come for the same things. And to recognize that people come for all kinds of things and to be prepared to make sure that we give what they need and what is required. So we are going to develop a whole new program of training and discourses and discussion about something that we're calling tourism ethics, which is the way in which we interact and relate to our guests in a manner which is friendly, yes, but is respective of their particular personality and their human rights. And I wanted to make that point tonight because I know that there is something in the public space which has not worked well for us. The issues of sexual harassment and the issues of criminality that historically or otherwise might have been a feature. We are determined that the new architecture must see a Jamaica that rids itself of even the slightest perception on that matter. And so, next year early, we're bringing in an international team headed by Dr. Peter Tarlow and a group called Global Rescue to work with us to structure and to develop a full new program of how we interact and we relate to international guests. This is very important. It's not going to do any harm to us. It's going to put us in a better place. And it is going to make the 50 years and more that you have given to this become golden years, in fact, on which Jamaica is going to continue to build and to become the best tourist destination in the world. God bless you, and thank you very much.
You're watching Business Access Television's coverage of the Golden Day Tourism Awards. More after this break.
Cash flow and budgeting analysis. A business can be profitable and still run into trouble due to cash flow issues. We can forecast and evaluate your company's financial condition, estimate financing requirements, and track cash flow sources and uses. For more information and to discuss your requirements with one of our experts, please contact us today. Email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
Michelle Chung, CEO and co-founder of Honey Bun in Jamaica, and you're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
Welcome back. You're watching Business Access Television's coverage of the Golden Day Tourism Awards. We're at the Convention Center in Montego Bay, St. James. Time now for more highlights.
It's now time to move into the awards section of our function today. And we will be presenting the awards in batches with assistance from some special guests for the handing out. So let me invite first up Ms. Janet Taylor, Executive Director of Devon House, to present to the awardees who have served for 50 years. Can we give her a round of applause as she comes forward, please? Let's hear it for Noel Bailey. And so let's hear it for our second awardee, artisan, craft trader Kathleen Johnson. Craft trader Velma Parker. Next is Vinette Patton Faulkner, craft trader. 50 years, ladies and gentlemen. Also celebrating 50 years, Gloria Ricketts, artisan craft trader. Tour operator Judy Schoenbein. Also celebrating 50 years, water sports and hotel management, Ernest Smat. 50 years as a craft trader. Let's hear it for Eunice Thompson, our next awardee. Our next awardee is ground transport operator Ralph Smith. Next, we invite Dr. Kerry Wallace, Executive Director of the Tourism Enhancement Fund, to present to awardees who have served for 51 years. First, in this lot, is Raft Captain Keith Allen. Next one up is Lloyd Davis, 51 years. "51 years for tour operator Myrtle Dwyer. Also 51 years for Hayden Fulcott, raft captain. Next awardee is craft trader Winifred Jones. Next on the list, though, is housekeeper Barbara Marsh, 51 years. Raft captain Leroy Miller is the next recipient of an award for 51 years. Another raft captain also with 51 years is Donald Morgan. Yet another raft captain, Euclid Richards, also celebrating 51 years. Next up is raft captain Jasper Roberts. And he is followed by raft captain Augustus Thaxter. And in this lineup of 51-year serving raft captains, we also have Owen Waugh. Ladies and gentlemen, the final of our 51-year awardees is Red Cap Porter Michael Sylvester Young. Mr. Young.
And we're now with Alan Daswani, and he's been in the tourism industry for over 60 years. Over 60 years. First of all, congratulations on being recognized tonight.
Thank you very much.
How does it make you feel to be among the awardees?
Oh, I think it's a great thing. I didn't expect so many people, but there are so many awardees today from all the sectors. But I'm glad that the minister has organized for the Duty Free Association and recognizing the duty-free shopping. So,
tell me a little bit about your tourism journey. It's been 60 years, so you must have seen a lot, and a lot has changed. So talk me through your 60 years in the industry.
Okay, originally when I came, I started in the duty-free shops, but mostly my family, way back, has been involved in shopping. And our families that come from all the way back, all the names that ends with A and I, they all come from one sector, all doing mostly the shops business, and that's how we started. And when I, at my young days, when I was born, 8 years later, India was divided into 3 sections. One became Pakistan, the other one was India. Now, during the time when the Pakistan came, I had to migrate. Being a Hindu, I had to leave the country. So finally, I studied in India, went to the school, went one day to college, and that's it. For 1 year, I went to Africa. I was there for a year and a half in West Africa. But being in the trade, as a trader, I came to Jamaica. My cousins were here already. So they told me, hey, you come down to Jamaica. So we started our business in those years. This was 1959.
All right, Alan Naswani, thanks for talking to us, and congratulations.
We're ready to move into the next set of presentations, and so we invite Ms. Joy Roberts, Executive Director for JAMVAC, to present to awardees who've served for 52 years. Give her a round of applause, please. For 52 years, Isilda Brighton. Our next awardee for 52 years of service is craft trader Iona Hales Murray. And our final recipient in the 52-year category is Bertram Wright, Ground Transport Executive. Celebrating 53 years, ground transport operator Sydney Bennett. Also celebrating 53 years, craft trader Myrtle Cargill. Hotel worker Owen Codlin is our next recipient, 53 years. Next is Frank Gilmore from the food and beverage category. We now move to 54 years. Let's welcome artisan craft trader Pansy Campbell. And we keep the applause going for Eulalie Downer, artisan craft trader, also celebrating 54 years. Winifred McFarlane, also celebrating 54 years as an artisan craft trader, ladies and gentlemen. Also celebrating 54 years, let's hear it for Fitzroy Miller, raftsman. With 54 years, raft captain Sidney Reed. The final of our 54-year awardees is ground transport operator Astley Shakes. First in this lineup with 55 years of service is ground transport manager Kirk Taylor. He is followed by, with 56 years of service, Bellman Donovan Anglin. With 57 years of service, we call on Raft Captain Uriah Samuels. Next, with 58 years of service, is artisan craft trader Dulcie Daly. Also with 58 years of service, craft trader Elgita Evans. Also with 58 years is craft trader Mavis Rose. Also with 58 years, craft trader Ronald Stevenson. The final of our 58-year awardees is ground transport operator Melvin Williams. "59 years as an in-bond merchant is a long time. Manu Daswani, congratulations. And the final of our 59-year awardees is ground transport operator Branford Marson.
In this one degree, you're able to do many things.
I think the field found me.
I'd rather work with the deceased than work with the living.
Let us open your mind to careers you've never considered.
Miniature model maker.
Game technician.
Animator.
Good job. Empowerment.
Career moves.
Anywhere money is, that's where I am.
Welcome back to Business Access Television's coverage of the first Golden Tourism Day Awards. Let's head on back over to the stage to see what's happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, these people have served for 60 years and some for more. The first of the group serving for 60 years as an in-bond merchant is Indru Dadlani. Serving for 60 years